What up, people? What's good? Salute, salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. We're a niche channel. Reserved for the best. It's super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at @6th_element_comics. Yeah, because comic books are the sixth element of hip hop. What's good, y'all? Sixth element of hip hop. You are in the right place. Yes, sir. I'm your host, Reno Noir. We got a good show today. As always, my camera is about to turn on. Don't worry. But yeah, man, we got a dope trailer out. Gladiator 2. Shit looks amazing. Jesus, yes, sir, it does. It looks goddamn beautiful. I'll tell you that. Let's talk about it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. I mean, we're gonna get into the Jay-Z. I mean, to the whole thing. Gladiator trailer looks phenomenal. Bunch of racist white people are complaining about the rap music. And there was no black people in ancient Rome. Forgetting that the co-star of the first movie was a black man, but I digress. The exposing is just it's terrible. They expose themselves, It's funny how the racists don't even realize they're racist. And that's the funny part. But it's been nearly 25 years now since the first Gladiator film. My favorite movie of all time, by the way. I've got two favorite movies of all time, okay? Gladiator and Goodfellas. I call them the two G's. They, depending on my mood, right? Two very different movies, but in my opinion, the greatest movies. Gladiator was just, everything. It was, beautiful. It was epic. It was action. It was, suspense, drama, everything. It was perfect film. Perfect fucking film. Ridley Scott, my favorite director, along with Martin Scorsese. So I got two favorite directors, Scott and Scorsese. Coincidentally, my two favorite movies by those two directors, and I say coincidentally because it's not necessarily going to be the case. But anyway, Ridley Scott is giving us this next sequel that promises to be a blockbuster event. I mean, all the crying and moaning on Twitter isn't going to hurt it. Scott's a visionary, and we can all expect that the sequel will, at least in terms of scope, be superior to the first one, with the trailer already giving us glimpses of some absolutely epic, utterly intense and exciting stuff. Naval battles in the Colosseum, which, by the way, it is authentic. They had naval battles in the Colosseum, full of seawater and sharks, the whole nine. You got a guy riding a blood spattered rhinoceros, and phenomenal performance by Denzel already that I can see. And of course, that's exactly what people are crying about. But the first trailer for Gladiator 2 that we've gotten so far, it's a nice fat one. It's 3 minutes long. Visual feast for the eyes. Absolutely beautiful. And there doesn't seem to be, anything inherently wrong with it, or anything that seems to suggest that the film is going to be bad or anything. So why all the backlash? Why all the hate? Apparently, fans are not happy with the choice of the song in the trailer, which has caused people to have an online nervous breakdown over what the movie could potentially turn out to be. About 2/3 into the trailer, you got Jay-Z and Kanye's "No Church in the Wild" is the name of the track, just playing a couple of sounds in the background over the orchestra with Frank Ocean's vocals about gods and non-believers, with Jay-Z talking about blood stained the Coliseum floors. And the song choice, I don't care. And it sparked a fiery debate on social media, with people calling it straight up blasphemy and historically inaccurate. Is it historically inaccurate that they had hip hop in ancient Rome? No, really, they didn't. Oh, what a fucking idiot! Obviously, they didn't have hip hop in ancient Rome. It's not like the music's gonna be playing through the film, guys. It's just a trailer. People are acting like Denzel being in the movie means that hip hop is gonna be permeating the film, for some reason. But no, guys, no, it's not. Okay. They're not gonna play hip hop throughout the movie. It's just a trailer, and there's a very, very good logical reason why Jay-Z is in this trailer, which we'll get into. Very good reason. Makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. And in the day or two, three, what I guess now since the trailers dropped on YouTube, uh, in the tens of millions of views, and went viral for sure. And people are definitely talking about it. But the trailer has a ratio of dislikes, far exceeding the likes. And the comment section is just full of racist people who, and honestly, I'm not even gonna say they're white people only, because you got a lot of sheeple on there. Guy on there. One comment I read, he's like, "I'm a black man, and I do not want hip hop in my Gladiator movie." Good. Like, yeah, I don't think they would do that, guys. They're not gonna put hip hop in the movie. It's really not gonna be in the movie. And yes, using a contemporary pop song in a historical context can feel cliched, especially when the lyrics actually mention the word Colosseum, and it seems a bit on the nose. And I suppose seeing this overplayed trope does warrant some skepticism. All right, I understand where you're coming from, but if you're really not racist, you're not going to just get the ball and run with it. You're going to actually think about it for a second. And the negative reactions seem way overblown, as though using a hip hop song for an ancient Rome movie trailer is something that one must never dream of in their wildest, uh, craziest dreams. Um, but again, I'm gonna tell you exactly why that song is in there, why Jay-Z is in it. It's very who doesn't remember this? Who doesn't remember this? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? This is not why you are here. Y'all don't fucking remember that? Come on, guys, the Black Album. What more can I say? It's a sample in the beginning of the song. In the Black Album, Jay-Z homies with Ridley Scott. Then he did an album after that called American Gangster, which is the title of a Ridley Scott film, also starring Russell Crowe. And he was totally down with Jay-Z doing that, collaborated in the whole nine. So Jay-Z has a very strong tie to the first Gladiator film. Who forgets this? Is this I get it was, it's damn near 30 years ago. It's people who are too young to remember. It's people who weren't there when the first Gladiator movie came out, who just are clueless as to why on earth there would be Jay-Z, and they just can't understand it. And then, of course, with Denzel popping up and doing his signature laugh that he does in every movie, the brain of a racist goes certain places. But the laugh that Denzel does, first of all, and I heard this, I actually read this. They said he laughs in a New York accent. How do you laugh in a New York accent? And then they said they allowed him to speak in a New York accent in ancient Rome. First of all, I watched the trailer. I kept playing it over and over, listening hard for a New York accent. My entire family is from Queens and Brooklyn. Okay, I believe me, I would know it. And they could be mistaking his because he does a little bit of a like he's trying to do like, and I'm not gonna say a British accent, but just an ancient fantasy accent. Because guys, why is it okay that everyone else in the movie is doing a British accent or a Irish accent? The star's got an Irish accent. How is that okay? How is it okay for them to have British accents and Irish accents in ancient Rome? You realize that they spoke Roman. Like it sounded like Latin. Like you do, it's not even Italian. You couldn't even. Are people this slow? It just blew me away. I had to talk about it. There's no New York accent. He's doing a little bit of there's a little bit of a on the end of a word, but that could easily be a British accent. But and then one there was actually a tweet questioning why he did the accent, and said that he's basically playing himself. And I think this is all unnecessary criticism because Denzel always is Denzel. It's like De Niro. De Niro is De Niro, right? He plays De Niro. I mean, he's fucking De Niro in any movie, but he's different. Like he plays that character. That's the true art of acting is when you're actually just being yourself and finding yourself in that character. And that's what people don't get. You can, Denzel makes any movie that he's been in infinitely better, and will probably, be every bit as believable as Paul Mescal or Pedro Pascal in the film. Paul Mescal and Pedro Pascal. Ain't that some shit? I never thought about that. Sounds funny. But anyway, the suspension of disbelief extended to an Irish accented Roman slave who logically applied to Washington, especially given his talent. So, uh, way off base, guys. Exposing yourselves. You're exposing yourselves, racists. And critics saying historical inaccuracy, also missing the mark here. Denzel's character, I've heard this. There were no black emperors in Rome. Okay, he's not playing a fucking emperor. And what the fuck are you talking about? There was no black people in Rome. What are you, nuts? First of all, and let's not forget the first movie. Who was the co-star of the first movie? Digimon Hansu. Digimon Hansu. Digimon, whatever how you say it. I call him Digimon. A black man, right? So come on, guys. You don't because that guy. So you're showing two things. You're showing your American ignorance, and you're showing your racism. And when I say American ignorance, what I mean is we in America tend to believe anything in a British accent. All you gotta do is speak British, and you instantly become trustworthy. Any movie that takes place in ancient times, regardless of the country, even if it was ancient Japan, if everyone's speaking in a British accent, we think it's authentic. But if everyone's spoken an American accent, oh, that's very inauthentic. What are you doing? Guys, it's Japan. Why would they speak in a British accent? English, right? But again, this is your American ignorance. So Digimon speaking in his African accent, whatever, these different accents that did not exist in ancient Rome. So it doesn't matter. They're speaking in a language that you can fucking understand. Do you want them to speak ancient Latin or whatever? Or ancient Roman? You know, uh and Denzel's character, not only were black people in ancient Rome, and not only does his character make sense, Marcanus was a real person. He's playing a real person, a real person from history, okay? From northern Africa, which is now modern day Algeria, as a Berber, and he probably did not look anything like Denzel, but he certainly was not white. And he achieved great things, became very successful, and had a significant status in life, and is largely known in ancient Roman history. Okay, and naturally, it's a no-brainer that the Roman Empire, with 60 million inhabitants, included various skin tones across all societal levels, including emperors. Yes, fucking fact. Africa was all over Rome. It's the Mediterranean. They're divided by water. I mean, guys, they love to jump in the boats. You the Moors? Are you kidding? So don't please don't show your foolishness. And perhaps the massive backlash and criticism for Gladiator 2 are only on the internet and within a specific section of it. I don't know. With conservative, right wing, largely white, racist voices quick to count the diversity of the cast and crying, "Oh, it's woke, it's woke." Uh, you know, when Gladiator 1 came out, was anyone saying it's woke? Or is it because he spoke in a African accent and was a slave? Is that why it was okay? It just hit me. You fucking tell on yourself, dog. It's it's clear. He was a slave. He was a slave. He spoke with an African accent. He was a slave, so perfectly fucking acceptable. No one batted an eyelash. No one said a word. But this is a successful black man in ancient Rome. Oh, it's got to be woke. It's got to be fake woke. And we're the first one to shoot down woke agendaed nonsense. But I don't believe for a half a fucking second that Denzel is part of anything that's not quality. Ridley Scott, that's part of anything that's not quality. Ridley's my favorite director. Denzel's definitely one of my favorite actors, one of the best actors of all time in history. That's a fact. I mean, that's a fact. You can't argue that. And if you just call it woke, I think that's an insult. I think but that's that's the nature of online criticism these days. If you don't like anything, you just call it woke, and it falls in a box. Problem is that's not the case. It's like, yeah, like I said, we don't rock with that agenda nonsense when it supersedes storytelling. If you are not telling a good story and you're just checking boxes and filling quotas. I personally find that wildly offensive. I don't think that's cool at all. And the nonsense, the dude at Disney, we don't hire white guys. No white men do we hire. Shit like that. It's absurd. That's ridiculous. It's just as bad. It's no better, no better. You're just as bad as any white supremacist. But unfortunately, you know, if you're there's a lot of great things that I want to talk about this trailer. Okay, Gladiator 2, the trailer looks phenomenal. I do want to show real quick people interested in the Rashikage. What do you call it? Jinx. She's here. There she is, looking just like she did in the movie, in that version there. And then they also put in the masked head, which I'm so glad they did because I'm all into the 80s toys. I want my classifieds to look like the 80s versions, the 80s O-ring toys. So this is much closer to the toy version of Jinx, while this is also dope. It's close to the cartoon movie version of Jinx. uh, I would like it if she had sleeves, though. She would look more like the original joint. As you can see, I chromed out her little necklace piece right there. It used to be orange, looks much better in chrome. Chromed out the tip of her spears, looks much better. The handles of her sword and stuff like that. You can see the chrome accents there. So, but yeah, very, very happy with this one. This one dropped also. I haven't busted him out yet. Snow Serpent. Super nostalgic. Really like this one. Looks just like him from the old school. And again, like I said, that's what I'm into this for, is collecting the classifieds that look like the 80s toys. So I love the retro. the retro card back joints. Waiting on Beats Head and already got the eel from the last joint. Went ahead and got one of these too though. So when that arrives, I'll probably leave that in the package. This is the first figure that I've actually not taken out of the package. And it kind of I got one, two, three, four, five, six other card back that I now wish I did not open. But I mean, I sort of do. But anyway, this is a very, very cool looking figure. And looks just like the 80s joint. Love the weaponry. The loadout's nice. Got a nice, cool looking rifle there. Some interesting. I think that's the same one. Yeah, that's the one Dusty comes with, I believe. Looks like the one Dusty comes with, and he's got the two pistols. That's the backpack of Dusty. Okay, that's Dusty's backpack too. Yeah. So that's definitely his rifle. That's interesting. They did Dusty's goggles. Does this mostly? Oh, it's his rifle. It's his pistols too. Okay, so he has all of Dusty's weapons. That's funny. So he has Dusty's complete kit. I love when they reuse shit. It's cool checking, figuring out what they reused, where it came from. I think it's dope because it again, it's just like the 80s toys. I mean, that's what they did back in the day. I have no problem with it. Who else came? Just also got Torch and Naugahyde. Doc is on the way, and Night Creeper will be here in a matter of days. But back to the Gladiator 2. Some great things about this trailer that I can't wait to see. Oh, and by the way, you know what? I want to show you. I think I can too. I think I can show you right here. Is this the one? Oh no, maybe it's on here. Yeah, I want to show you what everybody's crying about. Oh, that's not it. Not this ain't it. But the trailer's dope. The Roman Colosseum being filled with seawater with many mock ships. It's a mock naval battle. This is something that they literally did in ancient Rome. We know they filled the Colosseum, the arena, with seawater and had little mock naval battles with the gladiators. As far as I know, they did have sharks and shit in there. I'm not sure. I know they had rhinos, they had tigers, they had all the animals from all over the ocean or all over the world. All over the world. Um, yeah, I don't know. I do not remember if they had fucking sharks, but they definitely had naval battles. So why not? They had every other animal. It's absolutely believable. But you can look it up. You can definitely Google it. And they definitely did it. And then if you're a normal person, the yes anachronistic use of "No Church in the Wild" by Jay-Z, I thought was a dope fucking homage. I'm sitting there watching the trailer. This is before all the backlash, before anybody was said anything. Just watching the trailer by myself for the first time. And I'm digging it. I'm like, wow, that's dope. And then I hear Jay-Z and I'm like, oh shit, that's dope. Never dawned on me. Never was I like, oh, this doesn't fit or this is what. And I guess it's because I know exactly why they did it. As soon as I heard Jay-Z, I'm like, oh, that's dope because Jay-Z sampled. I mean, how does again? Are You Not Entertained? Famously used by Jay-Z in on the Black album, his retirement album, on the song "What More Can I Say?" Famously. So again, if you did not know this, you just simply were not alive then, or you were too young. Uh, and you should not talk about things you were not around for. I really find that fucking lame and annoying when young people talk with such passion about some shit that they weren't even around for, and will argue with someone who was around for it. That's what really bothers me. If you're gonna argue with me about something, please had been there. If it's somewhere I'd been, it's just I don't know. But anyway, yeah, a lot of people did actually sample the movie Gladiator. Uh, I know Webby, Chris Webby did. He sampled the shadows and dust, Proximos. That ultimately we're all dead men. Sadly, we cannot choose how, but what we can decide is how we meet that end, in order that we are remembered as men. No, you know what? Who did it? That was Cataclysm. That was Cataclysm sampled that. Chris Webby sampled Listen to me, learn from me. I was not the best because I killed quickly. I was the best because the crowd loved me. Win the crowd, and you'll win your freedom. I will win the crowd. I will give them something they have never seen before. Fucking love that movie. Wump's Cut, no, a rapper I don't know. Sampled it. Big Crit sampled Are You Not Entertained as well. But yeah, man, I mean, Jay-Z famously was involved with the first movie. It was very much kind of, went hand in hand. No, they did not play. But you know what? You know what they did play during the movie? Gladiator? Enya, an artist called Enya. Killer soundtrack. Super dope. Enya's not an artist from ancient Rome. They didn't have Enya in ancient Rome. No music sounded anything like Enya in ancient Rome, but no one complained. So, again, man, you're just telling on yourself. Relax, kick back. The trailer is a trailer. There's not going to be hip hop in the fucking movie. They will not be fighting in the Coliseum to Kanye, I promise. And you will be entertained by the trailer. I mean, the trailer is good. Trailer's really good. Let me give you a taste. Let me see if YouTube will let us give you a taste. Which I'm sure you've seen it. Hmm. So that little laugh that he did, people found offensive. And I submit that if a white actor, any white actor did that exact laugh, no one would have even noticed. Because the laugh absolutely fits. That's exactly how, like an ancient, in a fantasy movie, you would have like a merchant, some old dude or some guys in a tavern, or out in a public space like they are here at a market. One bellowing laugh, right? I mean, it's very common, dude. It's a very fantasy type trope. And his accent, I guarantee you, Denzel's thinking in his mind, he's doing that. He's doing the fantasy. He's doing the ancient guy. He's not out there. And I'll tell you another movie that nobody complained about that everybody fucking loved, that was crazy popular, was Robin Hood with Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner spoke like I'm speaking to you right now with an American accent. Everyone else in the movie spoke with a British accent, which was inaccurate still. It wasn't Old English, but it was close enough. It was closer. But Costner's just talking like he's American. No one even noticed. No one cared. So let's don't expose yourselves, guys. At least keep it under the covers. All right, so this is the Emperor's there, and that's the guy from what's the show with the kids? Stranger Things. The guitar kid, the guitar kid, Eddie. That's him. That's him. Completely unrecognizable. But look at that. There's the Colosseum full of sharks, teeming with sharks. You can see them there. You can see the little ships. Wow. And here they are under the Colosseum, because under the Colosseum was dry. Under the Colosseum was like a basement, right? It was like there was an underground. They literally had a top, a ceiling in there, and then water or whatever they did on the top, man. It was crazy, bro. crazy. And I'm a historian, dude. I'm a history buff. Okay, I watch all the documentaries, all the History Channel stuff. I'm all into ancient Rome, and nothing, none of this bothered me. None of this bothered me because the fact that a black man was in it, being that was clearly a successful dude with gold and robes, I guess that didn't affect what I was watching. So I was able to appreciate everything in the thing. If you saw that and that fucked you up, you have bigger problems. Okay, that you need to look inside. What's going on there? Here we go. Pedro Pascal, the returning champion. I'm not sure. I don't know the ins and outs of this movie. Looks like you got three emperors here, and I don't know. Maybe they were three brothers that ruled together. I'm not sure. If anybody's in the chat wants to chime in on that. Sure who he is. And then this is the kid Lucius from the first movie. Another complaint that people, oh, this is just a soft reboot. It's not a sequel. Why are you saying that? Why are you saying that? Because if you're saying that, first of all, you didn't see the first movie and you have no business talking. If you think this is not a sequel, you have no business talking. It's absolutely a sequel. It's about the same characters from the first movie years later. The main actor, the queen from the first movie, she's in this still, same actress, and her son Lucius is grown up and is the main character. This guy here. So everything is just exposing racists. A lot of this reminds me of the first movie. Here's like a smaller little mini arena, like the one Maximus first fought in. Uh, and Denzel, to me, is a Proximo. Again, if you didn't see the first movie, you don't know what I'm talking about when I say Proximo, and I'm not going to explain it because if you didn't see the first movie, we can't be friends. Okay, go watch it. Okay, here's the rhino. A lot of people had complaints about a rhino. Again, didn't bother me at all. Thought it was fucking cool. Absolutely, they had rhinos in ancient Rome. Somebody said the guy was doing somersaults off the rhino. Never happened. No somersaults. This rhino hits the guy and he goes flying, but he's not doing flips. It's not acrobatic. See, he just got rammed. He got rammed. He got tossed head over heels. November is not too far away. I love that they're just now giving us the trailer instead of like a year before the movie. Looks like the Emperor gets in and gets dirty, gets his hands dirty. The ring here says Maximus, so there she is. That's the queen from the first movie. She's holding the ring that says Maximus. There's Lucius, her son, all grown up. Not sure how he's a slave or a gladiator. Again, can't wait to find out. Don't want to know. I don't want to understand the full plot of the movie by watching the trailer. This is how trailers should be. It shouldn't tell you shit about the plot. Nothing. It should just be spectacles. It should just show you how cool the movie's gonna look, basically, with a little bit of an idea of like who's in it and what's gonna get. Don't give me no story beats. None. You can show me kind of what's gonna happen, but man, it should be pretty fucking vague. And this is perfectly done. It looks beautiful. Sick. That's dope. All the different character gladiators. So this movie, compared to the first one, is bigger in scope as far as just everything, budget, um, grandiosity, and listen, I don't know if it's gonna be good at all. This movie could be ass. But what I'm not gonna do is say it sucks because there's hip hop in the trailer. And when you don't even understand why, not only why hip hop is in the trailer, but Jay-Z specifically. I don't know. We still allowed to rock. The plot, though, however, I do have, somewhat. The events of Gladiator 2 have definitely been stuff of legend and rumors. At one point, Nick Cave wrote a fantastical script detailed by Collider that would have brought Maximus back in the afterlife, and that wouldn't have happened simply as like a quick ghost cameo, but as the main plot uh point after Maximus awakens in the Roman afterlife, which isn't as idyllic as he imagined. An even odder note, the he would have been tasked with a long and winding odyssey back in Rome, where the fully grown Emperor Lucius II would have been as god awful as Uncle Commodus. And that would have sucked, honestly, because Gladiator was never meant to be a fantasy movie. And I get the idea and I get the temptation to do ancient Rome and want to do the mythology stuff. Ancient Greece, ancient Rome, mythology, it goes hand in hand. You want to do it. I know. You got to refrain. Gladiator was not about that. Gladiator was on the realistic tip. But in the actual remake that from Ridley Scott or sequel, hang on. The story picks up around 2 decades after the events of the first movie. So it's like 20 years later. It does follow Lucius II, the adult son of Roman Empress Lucilla, who's actually back. Connie Nielsen, the actress, is back. And in the time between the two films, according to Ridley Scott, while speaking to Rotten Tomatoes, he's been in the wilderness after having lost touch with his mother. When the story picks up, Lucilla believes that her son is dead, and she's all happy and surprised. Obviously, filming has been completed, and there's a little chance that Russell Crowe could do the ghost thing, um, not as a ghost, but maybe like an imagining or a vision or a memory or something. But there's been zero inkling that that would happen. No clues or no evidence to that effect. But Crow did recently admit that he was slightly jealous of the sequel's existence. That he praised the original film's enduring legacy and said, "You don't always get that kind of longevity with every film you do, so it obviously holds a special place in my heart." End quote. And don't get your hopes up from that nostalgia, because the plot of Gladiator 2 is definitely under lock and key. So anything could happen. We don't know. But I think that it's going to be based in reality. Um the cast, you've got, I don't know how they went about casting the event role of Lucius II as an adult. The studio execs saw him on stage one somewhere with his shirt off and knew that that's who they wanted to hire. They said to see if Mescal could fill out a toga. Serkic and Ireland watched his performance in the West End revival of A Streetcar Named Desire. He played Stanley, and there were several moments where he takes off his shirt, and it was electric, Serkic says. The ladies in the audience were very vocal, and we were like, I think we found our guy. End quote. Multiple actors from the first film also do come back. Like I said, Connie Nielsen as Lucilla. Then you've got Derek Jacobi as Senator Gracchus. And Djimon Hansu as Juba is coming back. I'm very excited to see that. We might have been robbed of Barry Keoghan doing shifty, villainous things in ancient Rome, since he had to drop out for scheduling reasons. That would have been a good one, because he's doing other things, maybe the Joker in Batman too. Keoghan departed the role of Emperor Gita, which is picked up by Fred Hetchinger from The White Lotus. Additionally, the movie has Denzel, of course, and Pedro Pascal, two very big character actors for different reasons. Denzel is huge because he's a fucking legend, and Pascal is big because he's popular right now because of The Mandalorian, and he's hot off Game of Thrones, and so he's a big show guy. And this is like his big movie outing. He's stepping into films. His career is taking off. He's becoming a big movie guy. So this is that starting here for him. The in a mystery role with May Callumway and Leor Raz. As for Mescal, doing blockbuster leading man duties as Lucius Tzu, he has gone on record to express trepidation of whether his fame will skyrocket following the sequel's release, but likely so. The release date will entertain us on theaters in November 22nd this year. So November 22nd, which is the weekend before Thanksgiving. If the sequel is anything like the predecessor in quality, this is going to have long legs through awards season. It's going to really stay in theaters a while. And I think it's going to hit like that. I do. And I'm not saying that because Gladiator is my favorite movie. I'm saying that because Gladiator is my favorite movie and the trailer looks phenomenal and everything I've heard is very solid. So that's just my educated opinion. But yeah, the plot being based, on real events, because the first movie was largely fictitious. Everyone tried, even me. I was like, "Oh, this has to be fucking real. Like, who is this guy? Who's Maximus? Like, checking all this shit out, like looking up Marcus Aurelius and trying to Commodus and piece this all together. And I think Commodus was like Caligula, and it was like a whole thing. And it's like but they were a pair of historians have shared their predictions on which real world events will be in Gladiator 2's story, because like the first movie, I don't think it's going to be just a straight up, this is a real story that happened kind of thing. I think it's going to be a movie full of stuff that was really there, people who really existed, events that took place, but maybe, out of order or in a different era, but, they'll put it together, kind of a collage of real historical events within a fictional movie, a fictional story. If that makes sense. But yeah, the sequel to the 2000 historical epic with the all-star cast comes out this winter. But Gladiator 2 story, yes, like I've said, it is shrouded in mystery. It is not. We don't know every detail, but there is an archaeologist, Dr. Simon Elliott and Tristan Hughes, who are investigating whether the past could inform the plot of the movie. And, using the age of Mescal's older Lucius Verus, who was a real guy, during the Severan dynasty of emperors from 193 to 235 BC, of which uh, Quinn's emperor, not BC, AD, Quinn's emperor Carcella belongs to, and the campaigns of predecessor Septimus Severus, um, who could point to a North Africa or North Britain setting. And both historians also used the dynasty to sort of speculate about the potential flashbacks to before Carcella's reign, through the Severan dynasty's rise to power, including the pivotal Battle of Lugdun. And, you know, like I said, historical accuracy really doesn't matter in Ridley Scott's movies. It doesn't really matter in their fictional movies. It's not the History Channel here. And Gladiator 2 seems to, be guaranteed to be a little more faithful to historical Rome, actually, compared to earlier sequel uh, ideas that they were going to use for the sequel of this movie. Because, like I said, there was some crazy shit they had, planned, or at least that they were toying with. Um, but the sequel that featured an immortal and resurrected Maximus and in the afterlife, between battles with Christianity's rise and pagan deities that would leave Maximus living until the modern day. Really just weird shit that we can be thankful is not happening. But the original film story does mix up expectations for whether the sequel will accurately depict history in any way, or but while certain societal concepts, dynamics and conflicts and were faithful to the past, Maximus and other characters and characterizations and the power struggles of Rome did not really live up to the real world counterparts in history. And also Ridley Scott's own contentious views on whether historical accuracy should take priority over the spectacle of cinema, because if you just try to stick to history, it can be fucking very boring. It can be very bland. It won't be eventful. It might not be epic. Timelines may not, shit that takes place within a timeline, the cool stuff might happen, 50 years later. It's just not, so they have to make it a little bit fictitious to make it good cinema, to make it a blockbuster movie. I'll say that. And this might suggest that Gladiator 2 might not be the faithful visit to ancient Rome that some people apparently are looking for. But again, did you see the first movie? I have to ask, because that's not what the first movie was. And once promotion for this movie, the exploration of pivotal French leader Napoleon Bonaparte's in 2023's Napoleon received criticism from historians for how it depicted his campaigns. The same, with the director responded by saying, "Get a life." Guys, touch grass. Stop the armchair fucking, professors. Like, it's a movie. It's a fucking fantasy movie. It's not the History Channel. It's not a documentary. And saying, exaggerated or fabricated events are used to emphasize the effect that the director sees the figures leaving, and the effect that he wants the audience to have. And this has resulted in skepticism over his approach to historical reality or history from some audience. But again, you're not a fan of the movie, so why do you care? And I say you're not a fan because if you were, you would know that that's not what it's about. But while discussions around historical accuracy might come second to Ridley Scott's vision for Gladiator 2, the discussion going on was nevertheless a fascinating discussion with the historians of the little known period of Roman history, because it's not a big popular time. It's not, Caesar or Caligula or any of the famous or popular emperors. What up? Yeah. What do you mean? Nah, Trump got shot in the ear. Fool. You think it's bot trying to make Homelander? Wow. Yeah, well, they didn't know it was coming. They didn't know it was happening. Yeah. I haven't gotten to look at it yet. I was about to talk about it. Segue. No, hang on. We're gonna talk about because Trump just got shot in the ear. Allegedly. Yeah, real assassination attempt on Trump. We'll talk about it. What we know. In a second. But the two experts speculation does hold some weight as the character would be alive following the 15-year time gap. Talking about Emperor Carcella in this movie. Between each movie, the two movies. And as such, the viewers, are waiting for like the official glimpse of the movie. But a lot of people, may be inspired to dive into history and do some research and learn some shit about real history. And I implore you, watch Gladiator 1 and understand what you're talking about first, because the um the movie is not about, it's not a documentary, so it's not, it's not supposed to be some historical factoid or some shit. Um, so yeah, you're looking for the wrong shit. All right, so segueing in, that was my son who came in, was talking about Trump's assassination attempt. That just happened. It just happened. This is breaking breaking news. A lot of people do not believe that it's even real. Of course, in today's climate, everything's a conspiracy. Everything is a, what do you call it? A false flag. Let's see. Hang on, I need a sip of some Gatorade. Now, what is this? Donald Trump has been shot in the side of the head in a horrific assassination attempt that saw bullets fly at his Pennsylvania rally and at least two dead. Trump grabbed at the side of his face and blood spattered across his cheek. Around 8 shots were fired, sending supporters running for safety. Holy shit. I did not know people died. Are you kidding me? Secret Service agents killed the gunman within moments. The former president quickly pumped a fist at the crowd to show that he was not severely injured, as Secret Service agents raced to the stage in a hurry to hurry him away. Trump's campaign said he was taken to the hospital following the incident, but he's fine. And thanks to law enforcement and first responders for their quick action during this heinous act. Peep it. Check him out. I ain't gonna lie. It kind of looks fake, but I think it was real. Of course it was. I think it was real. Check him out. Look, I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. Are you kidding me? Is that real, guys? It reminds me of that statue. Look, with the pole and the leaning forward, it gives connotations of the soldiers, the World War I statue of the soldiers lifting the flagpole. Unbelievable. Look at the flag pumping fist. Oh, wow. This says the gunman was shot dead at the rally. The Butler County District Attorney confirmed. The Associated Press was a witness, told the BBC agents blew the guy's head off. Whoa, hold on. All right, I'm gonna shut this show down. I'm gonna start a new live stream, guys. Hang on, stay tuned. There's gonna be a new live stream here in a second, talking about the Trump